The Akatsuki, one of the most feared organizations in the world of Naruto. A group of rogue shinobi, each with their own tragic past and twisted ideology. Some seek power, others revenge, and some just want to get paid. One of the most intriguing members of the Akatsuki, Kakuzu, a man who lived for centuries, stitched together by his own hatred, both literally and figuratively. But what made him abandon his village? Why did he become a mercenary obsessed with money? And was he really wrong for joining the Akatsuki? Let's dive deep into the backstory of Takigakure's deadliest traitor, Kakuzu. In the world of Naruto, there are shinobi who are born to be legends. And then there are those who are doomed to be forgotten, discarded like trash. This is the story of Kakuzu, a man forced into an impossible battle, betrayed by his own village, and left with nothing but hatred and a love for money. But was he really the villain? Or was he just a man trying to survive in a cruel, unforgiving world? Kakuzu was born in Takigakure, the village hidden in the waterfall. Unlike other great shinobi villages like Konoha, Takigakure was small, often overlooked, but it had its ambitions. And those ambitions, they would cost Kakuzu everything. As one of the village's most skilled assassins, Kakuzu was entrusted with a mission that was beyond impossible: to assassinate the god of shinobi himself, Hashirama Senju. Yes, you heard that right. They expected him, a single shinobi, to defeat the Hashirama Senju, the same man who took down Madara Uchiha, tamed the tailed beasts, and founded the Hidden Leaf Village. Hashirama Senju is that guy, the god of shinobi, the blueprint, the original one-man army. He didn't just build the Hidden Leaf Village. He built the entire shinobi world as we know it. Man was clapping entire clans like it was a side quest, soloing tailed beasts like they were training dummies, and still had the audacity to stay humble. While others were chasing power, Hashirama was preaching peace, unity, and dreams of a better future. And let's not forget, Madara Uchiha, one of the most feared shinobi in history, had beef with the entire world but still couldn't get over losing to one man. Hashirama wasn't just strong, he was legendary, respected by enemies and beloved by allies. A king, a leader, and a force of nature wrapped in wooden jutsu. Put some respect on his name, the mission was pure suicide. Kakuzu never stood a chance. His jutsu, his skills, his experience, none of it mattered. Against Hashirama, it was like trying to fight a god with a wooden stick. And yet, when he returned to his village, beaten and broken, did they welcome him as a warrior who tried his best? Instead, they treated him like a disgrace. They called him a failure. They punished him for losing an unwinnable fight. They were the ones who sent him to die, yet he was the one blamed when reality played out exactly as it should have. Isn't that crazy? Like, bro, it's one thing to have expectations, but some expectations are just wild. You can't expect the current Mana to win the Premier League, the Utah Jazz to win the chip, the Cleveland Browns to win the Super Bowl, or me to finally get a girl. Like, some expectations are just too absurd. And so Kakuzu did what any reasonable person would do in his situation. He escaped, but not before making the village pay. Using the very knowledge that his village had tried to keep from him, Kakuzu mastered a horrifying ability, Earth Grudge Fear, a jutsu that allowed him to steal the hearts of others, extending his life indefinitely. The same village that had betrayed him buy him security, and so Kakuzu became the deadliest bounty hunter the shinobi world had ever seen. And eventually he found an organization that aligned with his goals, the Akatsuki, a group of criminals, rogues, and outcasts, all seeking power in their own ways. To Kakuzu, it was the perfect arrangement, as long as the missions paid well and as well the financial benefits of working with them. Raiding temples, collecting bounties, and doing high-risk missions, it all meant more money. And money to Kakuzu was the only thing in this world that made sense. Unfortunately, even a man who had lived for nearly a century could not escape fate forever. His greed, his arrogance, and his belief in his own immortality would ultimately lead to his downfall at the hands of a 15-year-old kid with a giant Rasen shuriken. And just like that, the man who fought Hashirama, the man who was betrayed by his own village, the man who had survived for decades, fell in battle. Not to a Hokage, not to a legendary warrior, but to a boy with an indomitable will. Now let's be real. Kakuzu was no hero, but he wasn't entirely a villain either. He was a product of a broken system, a shinobi who had been discarded, and a man who found solace in one thing. Yes, Kakuzu was brutal. Yes, he was a killer. But was he truly evil? Or was he simply a product of a world that demanded blind loyalty and gave betrayal in return? Takigakure sent a man to die and then blamed him for surviving. That's not leadership, that's cowardice. So when Kakuzu joined the Akatsuki, it wasn't just for money. It was a giant middle finger to the system that failed him. You see, the Akatsuki wasn't just a rogues gallery. It was a collection of broken people who had all been betrayed, lied to, or used. And in a twisted way, it kind of makes sense. So, the next time you think about Kakuzu, don't just remember him as the money-obsessed bounty hunter. Remember him as the man who almost had it all, but in the end, lost it to a world that never gave him a fair chance. If you like this video, drop a like and subscribe. Who should we cover next from the Akatsuki? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.